The Committee of Adjustment of the City of Toronto is called to order. The Committee of Adjustment considers applications for variances from the provisions of the zoning that applies to property, permission to extend or alter lawful nonconforming uses, and consent to sever property to create new lots. We acknowledge the land we are meeting on is the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples, and is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples. We also acknowledge that Toronto is covered by Treaty 13 with the Mississaugas of the Credit. Committee of Adjustment public hearings are conducted in a hybrid in-person and virtual format. Some applicants and participants will make their submissions in person, and others will participate virtually through WebEx. The meetings are also streamed on the Toronto City Planning YouTube channel, and anyone wishing to view the hearing may watch on YouTube. Those who want to participate virtually and have registered in advance will be connecting with their computer, tablet, or phone. All virtual participants will automatically be muted on entry. When your item is called, you will be unmuted by the moderator, one person at a time. We ask that you also mute your devices until you are called on to speak. Those participating by video appearance will temporarily be upgraded to panelist when your item is being held. During this time, your camera will be enabled. You will only be visible during your 5-minute allotted speaking time. At all other times, your video will be disabled and you will be reinstated as an attendee. For both in-person and virtual participants, Committee of Adjustment staff will share presentations submitted in accordance with the written submission deadline. Those participating through WebEx are not allowed to use share screen or any other panelist controls during a video appearance. The host will remove you from the panelist role if you fail to respect this instruction. People attending in person today who want to receive a copy of the decision of the committee on an application must fill out a decision request card, and those participating virtually need to submit a written request for a decision by email. Please ensure that you include your name, address, and email address because the Committee of Adjustment and the Toronto Local Appeal Body will be sending notifications and appeal updates by email. If you do not agree with the decision of the committee, you may be able to appeal the decision to the Toronto Local Appeal Body, TLAB, or in some circumstances to the Ontario Land Tribunal, OLT. However, the provincial government amended the Planning Act and generally removed rights of third parties to appeal Committee of Adjustment decisions. Appeal instructions are set out at the bottom of the decision of the committee. With respect to hearing procedure, I will call each item in the order listed on the agenda. Where an application is uncontested, the agent or applicant may proceed with their presentation if desired. When the committee does not require a presentation, applicants are to advise the chair should they wish to speak to the committee. The committee may ask questions and/or take the matter into committee for a decision. Each speaker, including the applicant agent, will be given a maximum of 5 minutes to address the committee. I will comment when you are reaching the 5 minutes. Any presentation or other materials you wish to submit to the committee must have been emailed in advance of the hearing. Staff and committee members cannot accept materials at the hearing. When addressing the committee, please clearly state your name and address. Please remember to confine your remarks to the matters outlined in the application. The applicant or agent will proceed first and will make a presentation to the committee on the application. Please note that the committee may not entertain revisions to proposals at the hearing today. Then individuals either in support or opposed to the application will be invited to speak. Generally, we first call on speakers in the hearing room and then those participating through WebEx. Committee members may ask questions of each speaker after they have finished their presentation. When all speakers are finished, the applicant agent has an opportunity to rebut only those issues that were raised by the speakers. This will mark the end of the discussion. The application will then be taken into committee for a decision. All right, Mr. Secretary Treasurer, well, let's start with conflicts. Does anyone have any conflicts for the morning session? No? All right. Okay, Mr. Deputy Secretary Treasurer, do we have any minutes to confirm?
Madam Chair, through you, we have one set of minutes dated July 24th, 2025. Present at the hearing were Mr. Allison, Mr. Fazeli, Mr. Bartolo, Ms. Sankar, and Mr. Nipfel.
All right. Does anyone have any questions, or could we have a motion to approve the minutes? Ms. Sankar?
Yeah, I'll motion to approve those minutes.
Thank you. A seconder? Mr. Fazeli, all in favor? That's carried. And do we have any deferral requests today?
Through you, Madam Chair, we have 3 deferrals this morning. Item number 1, 4, and 8.
All right, let's start with item number 1. We have our applicant with us today.
Good morning, Madam Chair. My name is Adam Layton. I'm the agent for the owner. I'm an associate principal with Goldberg Group, and we would like to request a deferral. We did receive the staff report late last week. It does recommend refusal, unfortunately, despite our changing plans and having discussions with staff. This is my client's personal residence. He's not looking for a protracted fight, so we would like opportunity for further discussions with city staff.
All right, thank you. Does anyone have any questions for the applicant? No? Okay, we'll take this into committee. Oh, wait, residents, sorry. We have a neighbor virtually.
Hello?
Hello?
Hello.
Go ahead.
Hi. Yes, present. This is Clevin Sava at 545 GLENCAIRN attending.
Okay, so first of all, did you hear the applicant is requesting a deferral of the application, so we wouldn't consider it if we were to approve that deferral request. It'll come back in another time. Do you have any concerns with the deferral request?
I'm not with a deferral. No.
No?
No, I don't. Can I honor a soft concern that I have? Is this the time for it, or do you like me to wait?
Having a little trouble understanding. I think you're okay with the deferral request. We won't hear comments on the actual application because they're taking it back to review with staff. So it may change by the time it comes back. So if you have comments, you can bring them forward at that time. So you're okay with the deferral?
Okay. I'm okay with the deferral. I'm just concerned with the vegetation, but this may not be the place or the time to do that. The vegetation in the property is taken over our property, and I was just trying to get a sense of timing for the deferral timing and when the process will start, because, trees are growing wild there coming into our property. But again, this may not be the place and the time. I just wanted to
Okay,
state
thank you. The applicant heard your comment anyway, but it will come back if we are to approve the deferral request. So thank you very much. There's nobody else, right? That's it? Okay, let's take it into committee. Would someone like to make a motion?
Yes, through you, Madam Chair, I'd like to forward a motion to defer the application, providing the applicant the opportunity to make any revision for their application.
Thank you. And a seconder? Ms. Sankar, thank you. All in favor of the deferral request? That's unanimous, carried. The deferral's been granted. Thank you. All right, number 4, is it?
That's right, Madam Chair. Item number 4, 96 Belgravia.
Belgravia. I'm on my right thing here. Is our applicant here or online? This is an application to construct, excuse me, a new 2-story garden suite in the rear yard of the existing 3-story fourplex.
Hello, good morning, Madam Chair and committee members. My name is Christian Chan. I'm the planner and agent for agenda item number 4.
All right, thank you. And the reason for the deferral request today?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. The reason for the deferral request is that there's a variance that is required that is missing from the public notice that arose from a ZAP review, zoning review. And the second reason is I was advised by a neighbor that the public notice that went out contained a site plan for another application and therefore requested deferral to recirculate the notice.
All right, thank you. Does anyone have any questions for the applicant? No? Number 4, so we do have 2 neighbors. They appear to both be online.
Through you, Madam Chair, none of them is online.
They're not online?
No.
Okay. All right. Let's take it into committee.
Okay, I'm happy to make a motion to grant deferral to item 4, 96 Belgravia Avenue for reasons of an additional variance and recirculating of the public notice.
Thank you, Ms. Martin. And do we have a seconder? Mr. Fazeli. All in favor of the deferral request? That's unanimous. The deferral request has been granted. All right, number 8, 2550 Victoria Park Avenue and 2, 4, and 6 Lansing Square. Mr. Morse?
Good morning, Madam Chair and members of the committee. My name is David Morse. I'm a principal with Bousfields Inc., and I am agent to the applicant for item number 8.
And your address?
My address is 3 Church Street, Suite 200, M5E 1M2.
Thank you. And the reason for the deferral request?
Yes, so we've been working with staff for the last couple months on this application, and we just recently received transportation comments on the application. Since that time, we've actually had an opportunity to meet with transportation and planning staff right before this meeting this morning. And so we are working towards resolving those issues. However, we've been requested to provide some additional information. And so we would just like the opportunity to provide them with that additional information and be rescheduled to the next available hearing date.
All right, thank you. Any questions? No? All right, and we don't appear to have any residents, so let's take this into committee. Mr. Marziari?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to put forward a motion to defer this application as per applicant's request to work with Transportation Department and resolve the issues.
Thank you very much. Seconder? Ms. Martin? All in favor? That is unanimous. The deferral request has been granted. Is this when I say you're welcome? We lost the person, I think.
So, Madam Chair, we're going to start with item 2.
Yes. All right, back to item 2. 3636 Bathurst Street. This is to request relief from the provisions of zoning bylaw 569-2013 and former City of North York zoning bylaw 7625 as amended by bylaws 364-2020 and 364-2020 LPAT to increase the number of dwelling units and reduce the visitor parking rate. And our applicant is online, I believe.
Good morning, Madam Chair and members of the committee. My name is Maggie Bissani from Airden Burles on behalf of the applicant, and my address is 181 Bay Street.
Thank you very much. All right. Do we want a presentation on this one? Or does anyone have any questions for the applicant? No? Is there anything that you want to add before we would just suggest to take this into committee for a decision?
No, I don't have anything to add if there are no particular questions from the panel today. I would just stress that, my client went through a very cooperative and iterative process working with staff, and we are pleased to advise that staff have no concerns with the 4 variances, which are really just in 2 categories, being one for the relief of the maximum number of dwelling units and the minimum visitor parking rate. So we are pleased to advise staff staff have no concerns. This is a purpose-built rental project that my client is very pleased to deliver to help achieve the city's goal of delivering more rental housing. I just note that with the visitor parking, the visitor parking variance aligns with the new in-force rates that were not in place at the time the original site-specific zoning amendment was approved for the original project that permitted the north and south additions to the existing apartment building.
All right, thank you. Does anyone have any questions based on that information? No? Mr. Marziari.
Just a quick confirmation. Thank you, Madam Chair. Just want to applicant to confirm there is no change to the building mass and the building constraints, setback, height, and stuff.
That's absolutely correct. Our variance to allow for additional units, the additional 30 units, is wholly contained within the approved built form within the zoning bylaw amendment. So there is no change to the built form, height, setbacks. In fact, there's also no change to the GFA as a result either. So in terms of the built form, it's exactly as was originally approved in 2020.
Okay, thank you for clarification.
All right, thank you very much. We'll take this into committee now for a decision. Would someone like to, Mr. Marziari?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think it's a straightforward application. It's all happening inside the build form, so I'd like to put forward a motion to approve this application, and I don't see any condition from transportation, so with no condition.
Thank you very much. Seconder? Ms. Martin? All in favor? That is unanimous. The application has been approved.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. You're welcome. All right, item number 3, 90 Douglas Avenue. This is an application to construct a new laneway suite. We have variances for coverage, west side yard, east side yard, eve encroachment, length of a bicycle parking space, width of a bicycle parking space. On file, we have a survey, plans, cover letter, a community planning report, 5 letters of objection, and a late letter of objection. Okay, and we have residents in attendance, so let's have the applicant first.
Hi.
Good morning.
Hi. Can I talk now? Hi. Good morning. My name is Chen Junhu. And Chair and committee members, my name is Catherine Hu. And my address is 60 Richmond Park Boulevard, Toronto. And I'm here on behalf of the property owner, Jia Wenlu, to present to the Committee of Adjustment hearing of this laneway suite at 90 Douglas Avenue. So according to all those 6 of those minor adjustment points, so we are going to eliminate number 4 for the eve.
All right, so that would have been my first question, was to ask you if any changes to make to the application. So you're saying that you are going to delete
number 4.
Number 4, the eve projection.
Yeah, projection. We don't have those kind of eve at this east side.
Okay, do you have any other changes to make to the application?
No other changes.
Okay, thank you. So we do have residents in attendance, and I think we have a few online. Could you please provide us with a brief presentation about the application?
I have to talking, or I'm muted?
Yes. You have 5 minutes to make a presentation to explain what the application is for and what the variances are for. Do you want the, I don't know if you...
Yeah, I can explain a little bit about those number one. Number one, we have the coverage proposed for 50.2%. And actually, the final is now asked to only 45%, right? So we have a 23.2% for the laneway suite and the 27% for the main dwelling. So that is what our reason is going to, build the house is like a reasonable space for the family start with. So that is why we have a little bit, larger the coverage. And for the number two, for the side setback, so the final allowed us, permit us to have a 1 meter. So actually, we have the 1 meter side setback on the ground floor. So on the second floor, we had, cantilever for the second floor space. So that is why the cantilever gives the second floor to property line setback is only 17 meters. It's kind of, still meet the, the 15 meters, those requirements. So on the number four, eliminate. Number five for the parking. We have those parking space is just temporarily, maybe for the future using. If the tenant future, they have the bicycle, they can park in the bicycle down our basement because we have a little basement. I think that one can, fit the parking, bicycle parking. So we maximize the use of the land to build the affordable suite, along with the city's master plan of expanding housing options in neighborhood initiatives. Those variants are minor in nature and considered appropriate development of the land. So I hope, dear Chair and members, please consider approving our application for the minor adjustment. Thank you all. That is my presentation.
All right. Questions for the applicant?
Yeah.
I have a question. You explained that the west side yard setback is reduced on the second floor because the building is cantilevered?
No, that's the east side.
Oh, the east side. So that's the accounting for the, and then what is the reason for the west side yard setback being reduced?
The west side, we cannot reduce the side setback because the garage, the existing garage foundation is there. So we are going to use the existing garage foundation to extend our laneway suite.
So you're using an existing foundation to build the laneway suite on? That's the plan?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. All right. Does anyone else have any questions? No? No? Okay. All right. Let's start with our residents. I believe we have some residents in the audience today. Please come forward and start with your name and address and just make sure the microphone is on, because it probably isn't.
Hello.
Is that working?
Good morning. I'm Carolyn Royce. I own and live at 88 Douglas Avenue in the other half of the semi-detached home in question. I cannot stress enough how strongly I'm against the proposed laneway suite next door and all the proposed variances. This is not in the spirit of what laneway suites are intended to be and will destroy the beauty and design of the neighborhood I have called my home for 34 years. The current owner has never lived at the property and is not engaged in our community. Laneway suites are intended to provide smaller and affordable homes. This will not be a modest or will likely not be affordable. The square footage proposed is only 195 square feet less than my entire house. Is this not supposed to be a suite? The plans show a 2-story house with a basement on a tiny lot of land. It will tower over my backyard. I'm very distressed at the prospect of the equity in my home plunging if you allow the variances on this project. I'm 69 years old, and I'm counting on using this money from my eventual sale of my home to fund my later years. This house will block out the sun in my backyard, where I have devoted my retirement years to cultivating my perennial garden. It is my pride and joy. The proposed variance to allow the home to cover 50.2% of the lot will virtually block out all my afternoon sun I now enjoy. I'm on the east side. I will also lose any sense of privacy I have because the south-facing windows of the proposed house will overlook my deck and backyard. I do not need strangers staring at me in my own home. I'm also concerned about the eaves troughs being so close to overhanging my property line. It could make existing drainage problems even worse. I noted a letter now in file from David Sitt of your office indicating not to approve variance number 4. However, I want to know where the eaves troughs are going to go. It says that the applicant has agreed to remove this variant, but eaves troughs are needed to control the water flow. I'm already having drainage problems from the garage at 90 Douglas as their water spills into my property, flooding the area around my garage. Furthermore, if number 4 is rejected by the committee, then number 3 should also be rejected, or the roof will still be an issue with eaves troughs added. With this proposed 0.17 of a meter in number 3, it will not ensure that I have access to my side yard for repair or cleaning the eaves troughs on my garage. It is a substantial decrease from the bylaw, and I urge you not to approve variance number 3. I'm also confused about this overhang of the second floor, which seems to be encroaching on my property line. They're proposing to put a 16.5-foot house on an 18-foot property with this shrunken bicycle parking space requested, or she just said they may not even have one, which is required by bylaws. What will be underneath this overhang? Why do they need to make this such a huge house? I was surprised to learn that they allow basements and laneway suites, the digging of which will be a major inconvenience for all the people that use the laneway, not to mention ruining the work the city did last year replacing our laneway. I'd like to point out that it was only after I complained twice that the building plans were posted on public file on September 4th, the date we were required to file our responses to the proposed variances. This is hardly helpful when dealing with a very distressing situation. Furthermore, our notices were received the last 2 weeks of summer vacation, and many of my neighbors were away. I have 5 further objection letters from neighbors living on the other side of the alley regarding this laneway home. Thank you for the opportunity to voice my concerns. I am hoping that you will take the concerns and those of my neighbors seriously and reject all the proposed variances. I love my home and my neighborhood, and this alley suite will negatively affect the enjoyment of my property and the equity in my house. And just a side note, this letter from David Sitt said, provisions for regulating roof eaves are to ensure sufficient distance is maintained between buildings for safety, sunlight, shadowing, access to maintenance, and appropriate setbacks from property lines to avoid encroachments onto neighboring properties. Well, right there, it says this house is just proposed is just too big. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much. Does anyone have any questions for this resident? No? All right, thank you. We'll have the next person, please, come forward. Again, if you can start with your name and address, please.
Hello. Hi. Can
Hi.
you hear me? Hi, my name is Nadia McRoberts. I live on 92 Douglas Avenue, and I've been in my area for 40 years. I'm a senior. My husband passed away a few years ago, so I'm self-sufficient, need to look after. What my concern are two things, or more. I agree with Carolyn, everything that we're together. I'm concerned about variance number 2. Regarding the west side, I have a large Japanese maple tree, the property overlooking the fence over the Douglas. This is approximately, my tree is, 12 feet high, which was privately planted by my husband, which means a lot to me. And I want this tree protected, but if they're going to build the basement, the roots are going to be damaged. And that's one of the concerns. And secondly, I'm concerned about the privacy. I worked and still working so hard to enjoy my space wherever we can, and my neighbors to look at each other. We have good connections. And if this is going to be taken away, as we seniors, we work so hard to enjoy the little privacy that we have and enjoyment. By the looks of it, it's going to be taken away. So my request is that the size of the laneway to be reduced to the size that is appropriate to the neighbors and enjoyment. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any questions? No? All right. Do we have another neighbor? Welcome.
Sorry, right, there we are. Okay, my name is Rosemary Williams. I am also a neighbor on 86 Douglas Avenue. I'm here to read out a couple of letters that have been written by residents. So these are not my words, these are the words of a fellow neighbors. To whom it may concern, I am writing to express my concerns and strong opposition to the continued development of laneway houses in our neighborhood. My family and I reside at 145 Bedford Park Avenue, and we have experienced firsthand the negative impacts of having a laneway house constructed immediately adjacent to our property, mere inches from our property line. The construction process of the 2-story laneway house beside us caused significant disruption to our daily lives. The noise, dust, debris, and consistent presence of construction crews had major impact on our quality of life. Our privacy was completely compromised, and in response, we were forced to spend over $100,000 in landscaping to plant privacy trees and attempt to restore some sense of comfort and seclusion to our home. Additionally, during construction, our parking pad was blocked for extended periods due to construction vehicles and trucks, forcing us to purchase a street parking permit, an inconvenience and expense we should not have had to bear. The situation has not improved since the laneway house was completed. It is now being used as an Airbnb rental, which adds further concerns. With up to 4 guests staying at a time, their only point of access is via the back alley. This raises a serious safety issue, especially for children, as the alley is primarily meant for vehicle traffic, not pedestrian use. The potential for accidents, especially involving children and moving vehicles, is very real. Moreover, the transient nature of short-term rentals like Airbnb is undermining the sense of community we have built here. When homes are no longer occupied by permanent residents, but rather by a rotating stream of short-term visitors, it creates a disconnect and fragments the cohesion that makes a neighborhood feel like home. Beyond the safety issues and physical disruption, there is a larger issue at stake. These laneway houses are being built primarily for personal financial gain, without any consideration for the adverse effects on the neighbor's quality of life. This is not the kind of neighborhood we envisioned when we chose to live here. While some residents benefit financially by renting out laneway houses, the rest of us are left to deal with the consequences: ongoing noise, privacy loss, parking disruption, and a growing sense of disconnect in our once tight-knit community. For these reasons, we strongly urge the city to reconsider the current policies around laneway housing, particularly allowing them to be built in such close proximity to existing homes and used as short-term rentals. We believe there should be a ban on further laneway houses in our alleyway, or at the very least, stricter regulations governing their consultation and use. Thank you for taking the time to consider our concerns. Sincerely, Alexandra and Brendan Cox, 145 Bedford Park Avenue.
Thank you.
And I have one more.
Is it quick?
Yeah.
Okay.
I know this one was lengthy, but I think the points
That's
were
okay. Go ahead.
personal. Very good. Okay. Dear City Planning Committee, although I disagree with the city's broader decision to allow laneway houses, I recognize that this approval has already been made, and several such units now exist in the neighborhood. As you walk through the back lanes, you can see these homes nestled in, often with some effort to blend into the surrounding environment. However, the variance request at 90 Douglas Avenue does not follow that pattern. Instead, it disregards the character of the neighborhood and the values of those who live here. Rather than integrating into the community, this proposal will stand out as an intrusive and imposing structure, an eyesore that will cause permanent harm to the properties around it. In short, the immediate neighbors of this project will become unwilling victims of the excesses of greed that this development represents. It must be remembered that the builders of this unit are absentee landlords. They have no genuine stake in the neighborhood or in its residents. The short and long-term damage that their project will cause will not affect their daily lives, but it will profoundly impact those of us who call this community home. If the city has concerns about absentee landlords failing to fill living spaces, it should also be concerned about those same landlords eroding the character and beauty of established neighborhoods. For these reasons, I strongly urge you to deny the variance request at 90 Douglas Avenue. Sincerely, Brendan Cox, 145 Bedford Park Avenue.
Thank you. Any questions? No? All right. Do we have anybody else in the audience? No? Okay. I guess we'll go to our online residents.
Through you, Madam Chair, I attempted to call twice Caroline King, but there was no answer.
Oh, neither one of them? Oh, sorry, it's only one, right? Okay. All right. Well, probably the comments are similar, I would think. Let's get the applicant back to address the concerns that have been raised by the residents.
Yeah, okay, I'm ready now. To address the first the neighbor who's living in the 88, number 88, and she concerned about the eavesdrop or the water leaking on her property. This is not our problem because right now, as her mentioned, we already have those kind of leaking, problem there. So for our proposal, the building, the structure, we will have the grading plan to take care of that, water drainage. And for her cleaning, about cleaning her and the cleaning for her the garage. So she should cleaning her those kind of roof garage on her property. It's not on our property. So our property is not against, even to her the property land. Okay, still in our the property land. And another one, she mentioned the sunlight. The building will block her sunlight. Actually, it won't because our building is face the north. The sun comes from east and the work, down from the west, right? So even right now, they still have those garage there. So I think this is not the issue we needed to concern. And another thing, snow removal from the drive laneway. That is a city decision. It's not our, the resident decision. And to address the 92 laborers, she mentioned she has the Japanese maple tree. It's just close to the property line. because the construction is not going to disturb the tree, so we are not going to, do any of those damage. And if her tree is too big, we might need to trim the branch if the branch is overhanging our side, because we need a construction, right? That is we concerned. And for the dog, the person who live in the Douglas 86, and she mentioned that they have construction noise and dusting and parking blocking, whatever those issues. So when we do the construction, we will highly follow up the city bylaw for the noise control and the dusting control. Like the construction time, we will, limited the time, what time we are going to start or what time we have to stop. So we are willing to follow that. So there is not those kind of things we can say, we are not have noise, but we try to reduce the noise if it's possible. And so for the coverage, they said the building kind of is big, so we is large according to their description. So actually, the building coverage is big, but the square feet or whatever inside for the Lenway suite is under those kind of bylaw. Even we have the enough the separate from our main dwelling. So this one we already submitted to the city. So this issue is not under the minus adjustment. To address the last one, so can I have a chance to read the owner's letter and why he wants to build the Lenway house for the rental? By the way, the rental is not going to be the for the B&B, Airbnb is only for rent out for the family. So why the owner wants to build the rental? Because he's young. Right now, he cannot afford those house by himself. So he is living with his parents and rented out the building. So once the Lenway suite is built, and he's going to move back in the in the main dwelling and rented out the Lenway suite to get some of those kind of the cash flow to cover the mortgage, because the interest is really high and he cannot afford to live alone in that property. So that is why he decided to build the Lenway suite to help him financially for keep the house.
Okay, thank you.
So I'm done. Thank you.
Does anyone have any questions for the applicant? Mr. Marziari?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I have actually two questions. First, you propose windows on the east and west side. So those windows need to be fire rated or fire protected, either with fire shutter or another type of window. I want to understand what is your plan to do that without projecting into the neighbor with that tight setback. My second question is, you're proposing basement, and for that basement you need shoring. How can you do shoring within that tight setback? And with that new basement, this is a new application. How could you use the existing foundation? As you said, you're going to keep the existing foundation for the setback.
Okay, so I'm ready. I'm okay to answer your question now. And for the window on the east side and the west side, we have the small windows. And we do use the fire shutter, because that little window is supposed not going to open. It's kind of stable, just only we want to have those lights, right? The natural lights in the inside of the room. So that is why we leave those windows. So there is no any fire, concern. And for the basement, we are going to use the existing garage-based foundation. We are going to do the underpin. And for the shoring, so if we needed to do the shoring, we will have to start inside. And another thing is actually on the east side, we do have a 1 meter side setback. So this allowed us, to do our shoring. There is no problem for the, for the construction, the basement foundation construction. Do I clear my idea? Or
Okay.
answer your question?
Not really, but thanks for your response.
All right. Are we ready to take this into committee? I think we will. Does anyone want to start the discussion, make a motion? I can start and just say I have concerns with the application. I think that, the laneway suite regulations are fairly recent. They're not some old regulation of the bylaw that no longer is applicable. I think they were done for a reason. I have serious concerns with the side yard setbacks particularly. And I don't really think it matters whether the building's cantilevered or not. It's still going to have an impact on the neighbors because it's 2 stories. So it's a small, very small lot. And I think the negative impact is significant to the neighbors. So that is where my biggest concern is.
Can I add more?
Mr. Marziari?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I share the same concern with you. I think the setbacks are not supportable. I'm not convinced that, especially with the windows, there's no way they can put fire shutters without projecting into the neighbor's property. And it's too close. I don't understand. I don't see any planning rationale for that. So I cannot support variance 1 and 2. I don't have any problem. Sorry, variance 2 and 3. I don't have any problem with variance 1 and variance 5 and 6, but the setbacks are serious issues.
Anyone else? Ms. Martin?
I definitely share the same thoughts with the setbacks, especially the west, because there is no way you could do any maintenance on the side of that house without encroaching on the neighbor's property. And it's going to be impossible because they have their building there. So I think that's going to be a real problem in the future. And also, I think it's a very large massing on a small lot, and I don't support this application.
Would you like to hazard at a motion?
Sure.
All right.
I'd like to put forward a motion to refuse this application. I don't think that the variances are minor in nature. It's impacting the neighborhood, the neighbors to the west and the east and the north. And I think it could be better designed to be more sensitive, and I don't think it meets the 4 tests.
Thank you very much. Mr. Marziari, second that? All in favor of the motion? That is unanimous. The application has been refused. All right, item number 5, 114 Donwoods Drive. This is an application to construct a new 3-story single detached dwelling with an attached garage. We have variances for front yard setback, height of building, building length, driveway width, number of stories, and east side yard setback. On file, we have a survey, superseded site plan, superseded plans, revised site plan August 19th, 2025, revised plans of the same date, arborist report, a presentation, development engineering memo, a TRCA report, 5 letters of support, and a late community planning report. All right, and I believe our applicant is with us. Good morning.
Good morning. Could we bring up the supplementary materials as a presentation?
Sure, but could you start with your name and address, please?
Sorry. My name is Paul Raff. I'm the principal architect with the firm representing.
We don't think the microphone's on.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
It's a little low. I think that's the problem.
All right, hang on a minute. Let's.
Thank you.
raise it.
First of all, do you have any changes to make to the application today?
No.
All right, thank you. And, oh, sorry, address?
Paul Raff, architect, 703 Bloor Street West, Toronto.
Thank you. And anyone in the audience? I don't think so on this item. No? All right. We actually don't have anyone here, I guess, speaking to the application. You're welcome to make a presentation. Does the committee want a presentation?
Oh, I've been practicing all morning.
Oh, I know. If you want to make a very brief one.
My presentation might help make the variances requested clearer, if that's of help.
Sure, as long as you keep it under 5 minutes.
I promise.
Thank you.
Could we bring up the supplementary materials and zoom in on them? All right, so looking at that green drawing, if you can zoom in on it, we're in the lower part of the leafy neighborhood of Hoggs Hollow, Donwoods Avenue. We're going to zoom in on the area that has the white dashed line. The property's been in the family for generations, and they're seeking to just rebuild a higher house for their own long-term use. They have 3 young children. If we move to the next slide, please. You can see from the site plan, the street is characterized by single-family dwellings, which form a generally consistent but also slightly variegated street wall on both sides of Donwoods. The subject property is outlined in dashed red. It's stepping back a little bit from the neighboring house. It is on a curve on the street. The next house at the top right of the screen is closer to the street. That affects this front yard setback, which we're going to look at in just a minute. I think we can go to the next slide. I'll mention we've reached out to all of the neighbors in the area, spoken to most, and received only positive feedback, including the letters of support that you have on file and support from all the immediate neighbors. This site plan is the very same one that's part of the committee application. You can see the incredibly dense stand of mature trees in and around the site. We've worked very carefully to be able to preserve them, especially the ones along the street. The stepping at the front was carefully worked out with our arborist and with RNFP, which did give us written confirmation of their not support but non-objection to this application back in February, and their current paperwork is consistent with that, with no conditions. We're also TRCA governed, so part of the building form is maintaining the toe of slope at the back of the site, which is part of what's driving this site plan. But I believe TRCA support is also on file. Could we go to the next slide, please? The front yard setback, because the other neighbor, which is closer to the street, doesn't actually technically address Donwoods, this more setback house determines what the front yard setback is here, so it's a bit of an idiosyncratic condition. Could we go to the next slide? So we are encroaching just in the light blue area, that corner, these 4.4 meters into it at that point. The dark blue areas show that we're actually setback greater than the required setback for most of the front of the house. And then if you go to the next slide, if we could go ahead, yeah. This chart just shows greater encroachments that in the immediate vicinity, which have recently been approved by the committee. We can go to the next slide. This slide addresses 2 variances, maximum height and number of stories. This purpose of this drawing is to show you that the light gray areas, the 2 closest to the street, the large south side and on the east, are only 1 story tall. Then we step up to the allowed 2-story in the kind of central block of the house, and the portion we're asking for a variance for a 3rd story and a bit of height is only that 1 room that pops up that is well set back from the edges of the building, very far set back from the street and the other perimeters of the property. We could go to the next slide. And it's only for that popped up portion where we're asking for 30 centimeters approximately of height variance. And we can go to the next slide. You can see almost the entire massing of the house otherwise is well below the height requirement. And I'll just say that this, most times of year, will not even be visible because of the dense stand of mature trees. If we could go to the next slide, please. Similarly, the greater height variances have been approved by the committee very recently in the very proximate to this property. And if we could go to the next slide, That's actually true of a number of stories too. We are asking for the 1 story for that 1 room, but 1 and 2 stories have been previously approved by the committee nearby. If we could go to the next slide. Building length is a bit idiosyncratic because of the property shape and the way we configured to preserve the mature trees. It gets measured in this kind of bisecting central line, but I'll just say, we're not asking for a coverage variance or anything else. So could we go to the next slide? And we're still within norms of previously approved building lengths in the immediate vicinity by the committee. If we could go to the next slide, please. The existing driveway requires a variance even though we're narrowing it. We're actually removing another driveway, so we're increasing the landscape green space. And the final slide, if we could go ahead. Promised I'd be 5 minutes. So one more slide. The side yard setback is just that light blue triangle. It's actually where the existing garage is, which we're replacing with a new 1-story garage there. So it's kind of an existing condition, and we're set back greater than that on the rest of the side yard. Thank you.
Thank you very much. One question, do you have any objection to us tying the development substantially in accordance with the site plan?
No, I don't.
Okay, great. Any questions for the applicant?
Madam Chair, just want to give you a note. We have a late staff report. Just want to make sure the applicant saw it.
Sure.
And there's
You
also
are-
a ravine advisory memo as well. But we'll go back to the staff report first.
Sure.
I did see that report, by the way, and it said there were no conditions.
Okay. Members are okay, and then we'll just flip to the quick, it's an advisory ravine memo. It's the advisory one.
Could we just go to the matrix?
Well, the matrix has no conditions.
Oh, it has no conditions. Okay, so it's just advisory. You've seen that report as well?
We have, yes.
Okay.
We've
And you
been
don't
in
have any
very
concerns with
careful.
either?
We have been in
Okay.
very close communication with RNFP. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? All right, I think we'll take this into committee. Thank you. All right. Mr. Marziari.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think it's a great presentation, right to the point. In general, I think it's a well-thought application, and it's definitely supportable from me. I'm ready to make a motion if my colleagues don't have any comment.
I think you can go ahead.
Okay, so I'd like to make a motion to approve this application subject to the planning and transportation conditions. And if you can help me if there's any condition with TRCA, or it's just a...
I actually think it shouldn't just be variances, was it 1 and 2 that planning was recommending? I think it should be the whole thing.
Yes, so that
Subject to be developed substantially in accordance, because that
accordance with the-
identifies the height, the layout, the building length, that sort of thing, so.
that is correct. Transportation and planning conditions, yeah.
Was it engineering or?
Yeah, we're just checking on that. Development engineering? Oh, yes, there are a number of notes, yeah, subject to those conditions. Yes. All right, do we have seconder, Ms. Sankar, or were you going to say something?
No, I was going to second it.
Thank
but
you very
just
much.
Also add that engineering.
Right.
I agree with Member Mazziari's take on this application.
Great, thank you. Okay, all in favor of the application, of the motion? That is unanimous. The application's been approved.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. All right, do you need a little break, 5-minute break? Okay. All right, we are back. Item number 6, 113 McGillivray Avenue. This is an application to alter the existing two-story detached dwelling by constructing a rear one-story addition. We have variances for building length, building depth, area of a platform, and coverage. On file, we have a previous decision from December 2000, a survey, site plan, plans, supporting material, site photos, and a community planning report. Do we have our applicant?
Yes, hi.
Good morning. Could you state your name and address, please?
Yes, hi. It's Joseph Cohen, and my address is 6 Delia Court.
All right, thank you. And do you have any changes to make to the application today?
No, I do not, Madam Chair.
All right. Do we have anybody in the audience on this item? No, the people that were here and they're not on this item? Okay, great. All right, we don't have anybody. Does anyone want a presentation? Looks like no. Does anyone have any questions for the applicant? There's a lot of background noise on your audio.
Sorry, let me see if I can fix that. Hold on 1 second.
Yes, I see the staff report.
Is that better, Madam Chair?
There's someone talking in the background? Is that what
All right. Yeah, let me move. Hold on 1 second.
It does.
Sorry, we're both working from home today.
That's okay. Have you seen the community planning report?
I saw the staff report, yes.
Yes, and you don't have any concerns with it?
No, and I'm very happy that I had time to do a staff report. It's amazing. And I'm totally fine with, or the owner's totally fine with the conditions that they proposed in the staff report.
All right, thank you. So unless there's something you want to say specifically, we'll just take this into committee for a decision.
No, I prepared a presentation, but I'm willing to let it go.
All right. Okay, let's take it into committee.
I am happy to make a motion to approve this application, subject to the community planning report tying the development substantially in accordance with the site plan.
All right.
I don't think there was any other conditions.
I don't think so either. Do we have a seconder? Mr. Fazeli?
Do we have to be specific about the variances for
Staff, do you want
substantially
us
in accordance,
to,
or?
do you want us to say what the community planning report says? Okay, yeah, all right. Great. I know. Okay. So we have a seconder. All in favor of the motion? That is unanimous. The application has been approved.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, everybody. Have a
You're
great day.
welcome. All right, item number 7. This is 178 BLYTHWOOD Road, a new 2-story dwelling with an attached garage. We have variances for building length, floor space index, front yard setback, front porch encroachment into front yard setback, front porch canopy encroachment into front yard setback. On file, we have a survey, plans, supporting material, TRCA, urban forestry memo, late letters of support, late heritage staff report, late community planning report. So maybe we'll pull pull the community planning report up. But let's get our applicant first.
Good morning. It's Glenn Rubinoff. I'm the agent for the owner.
Address, please.
It's Rubinoff Design Group, 2 St. Clair Avenue West, Toronto.
All right, thank you. Do you have any changes to make to the application today?
No, I don't. This application's been through Heritage Conservation Ravine. We've basically addressed all the concerns expressed.
All right, thank you. And there's nobody here on this item either, correct? Okay. TRCI, I think, had no comment, if I recall, or no concerns, no objections. And then we have the heritage. Were there conditions in the heritage report? Okay. Let's just put it up for a sec. I know, it's confusing. We don't usually have heritage, so it's.
Yeah, we worked with Heritage for several months back and forth with their different staff members to
Right.
really nail down what they wanted, and I think they're happy with it now. So.
Right, there is a condition. Okay, so subject to that. All right, thank you very much. So I don't think we need a presentation. Anyone? No? Ms. Sankar?
I just have a question, and it
Yep.
may not be for the applicant, it might be for our administration. But I do see that, okay, so we've got the staff report of September 3rd, asking us to look into this, making sure that it is subject to a sort of a heritage review. But we then had that later email from Heritage, September 6th, that sort of says, hey, it complies and we're okay with that. But we then have the September 11th staff report, an additional one, that just talks about sort of the front yard setback, being developed substantially in accordance with the site plan drawing. So I just want to make sure, like, I guess this will not be subject to heritage anymore. Just that one condition of staff.
If I could just address that really briefly, heritage is applicable law in this area, so we would have a heritage permit anyways. So in that regard, they're just commenting on the committee application, but we do have a separate process that we've gone through with them as well.
All right, thank you for clarifying. It's a bit confusing. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, let's take it into committee then. Ms. Sankar?
Yeah, through you, Madam Chair, if no one else has any other questions, I'm ready for a motion. I think that looking at this application and going through it in a bit more depth and then getting my questions sort of clarified, today I feel very comfortable that this application does meet the 4 tests. I do believe that the agent has tried to go through all of the important processes to make sure that this gets approved in the right way. And so I'm going to put forward a motion to approve this application, and it'll be subject to the staff report of September 11th, where the front yard setback is developed substantially in accordance with the site plan drawing. And also it will be subject to heritage as part of the natural process. I don't see that there's any TRCA or forestry concerns. So unless there's something else that came up while I didn't understand, this is my motion. Thank you.
All right, actually, there are
2
conditions of forestry, condition 1 and 2.
Okay, so that's still, okay, so subject to forestry conditions 1 and 2. Thank you, Madam Chair.
All right, thank you. Seconder, Mr. Fazeli. All in favor? That is unanimous. The application has been approved.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, number 9, 431 Heath Street East. It's an application for a new detached dwelling with an integral garage. We have variances for floor space index, lot coverage, and west side yard setback. On file, we have a survey, letter from the surveyor, plans, an arborist report, and a previous decision from June 20th, 2024. Let's have our applicant.
Hello?
Hello.
Yes, can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
Perfect. This is Franco Spagnolo from Studio Spagnolo, 911 Chippenham Drive, Mississauga.
Great, thank you. So we don't seem to have, we don't have anyone on this one in the audience, no? Perhaps you could just outline the reason for the application. I think I know what it is, but maybe a very brief explanation of why we are here.
Definitely. So there was a previous, as you know, previous C of A application for the new house in June 2024. The house is substantially completed. The owner was going to begin some landscaping, and they noticed that there was an error on the original survey prepared by the surveyor. There was, as you know, there was a letter submitted to the Committee of Adjustment. The west side property line at the back was slightly adjusted, and because of that, the lot area is about 9.03 square meters smaller, and the side yard setback was adjusted accordingly. The dwelling itself hasn't changed. It's the same height, massing, location on the property, but because of the slight adjustment, we decided to resubmit just in order to have everything up to date and proper.
All right, that's what I suspected. So essentially, you're regularizing the variances.
Exactly.
Okay. All right, thank you. Does anyone have any questions for the applicant? No? All right. And we don't have anyone here on this one, so I think we'll just take this into committee for a decision. Mr. Marziari?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think it's a straightforward application. So I put forward a motion to approve this application with no condition.
Thank you very much. Seconder, Ms. Sankar? All in favor? That is unanimous. The application has been approved. All right, number 10, 191 Finch Avenue East. This is, actually, number 10 and 11 are almost the same application. Perhaps we can discuss them. Okay, we'll do separate motions, but we'll discuss them at the same time because they're essentially the same application. So it's to convert the existing 3-story dwelling containing 2 dwelling units into a triplex by converting the existing 3rd floor into an additional unit. The variances are for dwelling type and required parking. On file, we have a survey, a previous decision from November 2018, plans, cover letter, supporting material, site photos, a community planning email, and 2 letters of support. Do we have our applicant with us?
Good morning,
Good
Madam
morning.
Chair and members of the committee. My name is Selena Rodriguez. I'm the agent applicant for the owners and for both 189 and 191 Finch Avenue East.
And
My
your
address is 1115 451 West Mall, Quebec.
Perfect, thank you. Any changes to make to the applications today?
No, I don't have any changes.
All right, thank you. I don't think we need a presentation. Does anyone want one? No. And there's nobody here on this application? No? Okay. Any questions for the applicant? No? All right. Let's take it into committee.
All right, through you, Madam Chair. If there are no comments from the colleagues, I'm okay to forward a motion. The application, I can support the application, and I feel it satisfies the 4 tests. So therefore, I forward a motion to approve this application. I do not see any conditions. That is for number 10.
All right.
And-
Seconder, Mr. Marziari? All in favor? That's unanimous, so that application has been carried. And would someone like to make a motion for item 11? Ms. Martin?
Sure, I can make a motion to approve item 11, 189 Finch Avenue East. I think it, again, it meets 4 tests, and I'm making a motion to approve.
Thank you very much. Ms. Sankar seconds that motion. All in favor? That is unanimous. The applications have been approved. That's both.
Thank you very much and have a good day.
Thank you, 10 and 11.
Thank you.
All right, item number 12, 20 Langbourne Place. This is an application to alter the existing 2-story semi-detached by constructing a covered porch. We have variances for lot coverage and front yard setback. On file, we have a survey, plans, urban forestry comments, and one letter of support. Do we have our applicant?
Hello, it's Chelsea Purcell and Carolina Urban from 20 Langbourne Place.
Thank you very much. Any changes to make to the application?
Nope. Sorry, no changes to the application from our side.
Okay, thank you. Does anyone have any questions? Oh, there's... No? All right. Let's take this. Oh, we don't have anybody here on this application? Nope. All right. Let's take it into committee. Oh, sorry, I did have one question just before we go. Are there any other, I noticed this is like a repeated pattern of housing in the neighborhood. Are there any other units on the street that have done this?
Yes, yeah, there's a few other units that have done this.
The same sort of thing?
Yeah, similar thing. It's the reason for it is that when you open the front door, you basically have a stairwell that goes straight down. So, you know, with little ones, they're always almost falling off the stairs. So we just want to extend out so that we can have more safety. You open the front door, they can take off all their clothes, boots and whatnot, and it's more of a safety measure. So I know that other units have done this in the area, just 2 over, and then down the street, there's a few different ones that have done it as well.
Okay, thank you. All right, now we can take it into committee. Oh, Mr. Marziari? Yes.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think it's, again, another straightforward application. It's just 2 variances that are quite minor and meets the 4 tests. So I'd like to put forward a motion to approve, subject to urban forestry condition number 2, I believe.
All right, thank you. Mr. Fazeli seconds that. All in favor of the application? That is unanimous. The application has been approved.
Great, thank you very much. Have a great day.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
All right, item 13, 174 Elmhurst Avenue. This is an application for a new detached dwelling with an integral garage. We have variances for coverage, height, front and rear exterior main walls, number of stories, main pedestrian entrance height, number of platforms on the rear of the dwelling, area of a platform, and west side yard setback. On file, we have a survey, site plan, plans, revised plans, September 4th, 2025, a cover letter and research, arborist report, supporting material, presentation, community planning report, and an urban forestry memo. Let's have our applicant.
Good morning, Alexander Overholt speaking from 1140 the Queensway in Etobicoke.
Thank you very much. Any changes to make to the application today?
Yes, there have been quite a few changes since we first started discussing our application with community planning, and I'm happy to walk you through those adjustments.
All right, let's pull up the public meeting notice. Do you want, staff have put up the amended public meeting notice or the changes the applicant has done, but I think we want the original? Is that correct? Staff? Although the list of variances that the applicants provide are really helpful, just to make sure we have the original one to see. All right, Mr. Overholt, let's start with variance number 1.
Of course. So we have made reductions to our massing. The new proposed lot coverage is 32.79%.
All right. Variance number 2.
We have eliminated our building height variance. This variance no longer applies.
All right. Variance number 3.
We have made reductions to our massing. The main wall height variance has been reduced to 9.41 meters.
All right. And variance number 4?
Remains as is.
Okay. Variance number 5?
Eliminated.
6?
Eliminated.
7?
Remains as is.
8?
Eliminated.
All right. And 9?
Our proposed west side yard setback has been increased to 1.51 meters.
Okay. Now, this one must be why we have residents in the audience. So if you could provide a brief presentation for us on the application, that would be helpful.
Yes, I'd be happy to do so. There is a presentation that was submitted. If we can kindly pull that up, I'd walk you through it. Excellent. Thank you very much. So again, when we first made our application, we had 9 variances. Working with community planning over a variety of a few weeks, we eliminated 4 variances and reduced the severity of 3 others, which in my opinion and community planning's opinion makes our application much more suitable for the local area. Our lot coverage is only a 2.79% increase in the area. If you were to look at the presentation on page 3, we have looked at some local comparables of other properties on Elmhurst Street that have larger lot coverages than ours. 67 Elmhurst was approved for 36%, 71, 33.2%, 132 Elmhurst, which is not too far from us, 34.30%, right? Now, if we were to evaluate our main wall height variance, if you were to look at page number 6 on the presentation, we have some comparables in the area. We did make a reduction in our main wall height from 9.69 to 9.41. This was in order to attempt to reduce the imposing massing of our front elevation. Now, with concerns of the local area, we did go ahead and speak to the neighbors directly across the street, which is 173 and 175 Elmhurst. We did speak to them about our application, specifically our revised application, and they're happy to support our application as they believe that even though numerically the main wall height variance seems to be large, due to the architectural style, they don't believe it's too imposing in the local area. If we were to take a look perhaps at page number 8, which talks about some comparables about the amount of stories we have in our application. I do believe the one neighbor directly to our left was concerned about the number of stories. It is somewhat of a technical variance due to our basement, how the midpoint of the ceiling height is calculated is slightly above the established grade. It does equate this being a 3-story structure. If perhaps, we had a reverse slope driveway, which, building department and planning doesn't really support these days, we could most likely have this dwelling being a 2-story structure, but that's definitely not something that we want to proceed. I do want to make note that on the portal, there are 3 letters of objection, 2 of them being just letters presented to the committee stating questions about our application rather than concerns. The final letter of objection, which is from the adjacent neighbor, they did, provide concern towards 4 variances. The side yard setback, which we have increased to 1.51 meters. Our lot coverage they're concerned about, which we did make reductions. Our building height, we did completely eliminate, and of course, they're concerned with our stories. Now, if we were to, again, look at page 8 of our presentation, there are some comparables in the local area. 67 Elmhurst, 80 Elmhurst, and 168 Elmhurst all have structures that were approved for 3 stories. I do believe that this type of architecture is up and coming in the area, and in our conversation with community planning, who has been very helpful in helping adjust our application, they do share the similar opinion. I would like to bring attention to our side yard setback variance. If we were to perhaps look at page number 11, one can take a look at a little enlarged of our site plan here. Now, it is true that our required side yard setback is 1.80 meters, right? But that is due to there being an exception, in the bylaw imposed into this local area. If this exception wasn't there, we would comply with the 1.5 meters on each side. Again, this reduced side yard setback still allows for enough, circulation on the left side to occur. No concerns with stormwater management. And again, because we have a reduced eaves height on the left and right elevations, the massing on the left and right elevations are indeed less impactful than what you would see on the front due to the main wall height. If there are any questions regarding applications, I'm most certainly happy to answer. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Does anyone have questions of the applicant? No? All right, so I've got a bit of frog in my throat. Let's have the residents who would wish to speak on this item come forward. It's your turn. Just make sure the microphone is on. I don't think it's on.
Is it on now?
Yes.
Okay. Too
So
loud?
name and address first, please.
Yes, my name is Erica Barrientos. I am representing my parents who are seated here, Mr. Edison and Erica Barrientos, the west side neighbor at 176 Elmhurst Avenue. I have a presentation. So as you can see in my first slide, 176 Elmhurst Avenue has an east elevation which includes 6 windows and 1 very large glass block wall, which is a feature wall that is designed to bring in abundant natural light into the center hall of the house. My father, Edison Barrientos, is an architect. He designed this home 25 years ago. It was his dream home. They have lived there happily for 25 years. They are aware that any construction, being an architect, he knows, any construction will block light, but we do object to any variances that will increase the blocking of the light to our home. Primarily, the biggest objection that we have is the the number 9, the minimum required side yard setback should be maintained to 1.8 meters, as it will be adversely affecting 6 windows, as you can see in the elevation that's drawn there. That brings natural light into 6 of our rooms. In addition to that, the 9-foot 6-wall tall glass block wall, which is the feature. Next slide, please. So once again, this highlights the 1.8 minimum, 1.8 minimum required side yard setback should be respected, and that is our main point. Next slide, please. The following pictures show some of the effects that you will see: drainage and long shadows. We took this picture just to show that a very small tree on the sidewalk creates a very heavy shadow that will overshadow our house, because this house that is proposed is further in front of our house, closer to the street, so the morning shadow will be very heavy and will stay there for, always pretty much. Also, the wide driveway currently allows for water drainage. There is the back of the property is a higher level, so there's a lot of water drainage that comes between the houses right now. We understand that it will be managed by eaves troughs, but reducing the passage between the two houses is going to adversely affect water drainage on this property. Currently, 174 has water drainage problems. In fact, the basement of that house was flooded over the past 10 years. We are aware of this because, of course, we were neighbors and good neighbors to this 174 property, and we know the issues of water drainage in this land. So that's the existing driveway. Again, the large footprint, I know that they've reduced the footprint, but we still feel it's too big. It should comply with the bylaw. Here you can see the east-facing windows, which will no longer have direct natural sunlight. Please, next slide. And more of the existing windows that you can see will be blocked on the east side. Next slide. Interior views of our home, as I mentioned, this is a feature wall that brings in all the natural light. So although we do not object to the proposal, a home will be built there. We would like them to stay within the required setbacks, as we did when we constructed our home. Next slide, please. You can see the interior view of the second floor hall feature wall that will be blocked. Next slide, please. And this is the window number 1 from the inside, the interior powder room, completely blocked. That will be a black, dark room. We will have to turn the light on to go into that room. Next slide, please. No natural light will enter this laundry room for the same reasons. We insist that the 1.21 setback that was proposed, or even I don't know if they reduced it's just too close. Next slide, please. And the primary suite will have a blank wall there, just whatever brick wall that they build, and there will be no view of the trees. The trees will be gone, of course. So this will infringe on the equity that my parents have in this home. As a real estate agent, I can attest to this. I have seen many homes who have been blocked, and the light has been basically decimated the price of the resale value of the property. Next slide, please. Finally, another washroom, which will be blocked. You can see the roof of the existing house on the exterior there. That will no longer be there, no view, just a brick wall. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. And finally, another interior washroom window, which will also see a brick wall. Next slide, please. So objection number 1, to finally summarize, we strongly object to point number 9, the proposed west side yard setback of 1.21. The 6 windows will be blocked. In addition to that, there's 2 AC units which will bring noise, and those go beyond the setbacks, of course. The 2 AC units and exhausts, which will bring in air, noise. In the wintertime, exhausts usually cause condensation on our side elevation. At the stucco wall, it will be damaged, if not, condensation problems will happen unquestionably if you have an exhaust pointing onto our house. Next slide, please. Objection number 2, we object to the maximum permitted lot coverage, 33.6. I know they have reduced it, but we still feel that it will be in the presenter's own words, I believe he said, an imposing massing, which will loom over our house and block the natural light and significantly affect the quality of life of my parents in that home. They're in their final years. They will, in short order, probably will have to sell their home at some point. It is their only asset, and they see this as a significant loss, quality of life, and value and equity in their home.
Can you wrap up? Because we've gone over time.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Okay, so my final objection is the maximum proposed height, which he's already said he's going to reduce, but we still feel it's too imposing and too high because they're on high level. And that's my presentation. But
thank you. Does anyone have any questions for the resident? No? All right. Thank you very much. Do we have anybody else on this one? I don't think so. Just double checking. No. All right, let's bring the applicant back to address the concerns that have been raised.
I just want to thank Erica for coming forth and presenting the concerns on the behalf of both her parents. I did review the letter of concern that she did provide to the committee very thoroughly, and I understand where her concerns are coming from. I do just want to remind Erica and the committee that, yes, our original proposal did have a side yard setback of 1.21 meters, which we have increased additional foot to 1.51 meters, which means that we're only deficient by a foot in order to meet the zoning bylaw. We did have quite the imposing building height, which of course would have contributed to the overshadowing towards our east elevation. But with our reduction of the building height variance and our reduction in main wall height variances, I do believe that there more light would now be cast into her property than compared to the original proposal. If we were to hypothetically speak that if we were to meet this left side yard setback by an additional foot, the shadowing that would be cast, as she did state, that any construction would still occur, some shadowing into her property. If we were to hypothetically meet that requirement, I still believe that due to the architecture of our proposal, we would still unfortunately cast shadows into her property. But in looking at the type of windows that she has, you know, the wonderful thing about glass block windows is that it has this ability, due to the geometry of it, to really bring in a lot of ambient light. So I do believe that that architectural feature in the staircase will still have the opportunity to bring in ambient light and help cast that glow within to the interior of her house. Our lot coverage that she did bring up, I do believe, a 2.7% increase from what is allowed is within the typical concerns that the community planning department does have. And speaking with Wilser from community planning, he does state that he has no concerns with that additional 2.7% increase. Regarding drainage, it is true that the natural topography of this property does boast a rear to front grading condition, but of course with our side yard setbacks being 1.51 meters on the left and 1.80 meters on the right, there is definitely a lot of ability and space to develop proper side yard swales and building department approved stormwater management solutions. So I do respect the concerns that she has, and of course with her family being within the industry, during times of construction, if they have any concerns or issues or questions during the construction, we're more than happy to, of course, work with them. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any questions for the applicant? No? Sorry, just reading the community planning report, they're recommending refusal of the height variance for the front and rear main wall height. Did you reduce it in response to their comments?
We made reductions when we first started talking with community planning, and due to the architectural style of being a modern house, it was quite difficult to meet the expectations of community planning. It would actually trigger a complete redesign of the facade, which is not an aesthetic the homeowners are looking to achieve here, which is why we wanted to have a discussion with the neighbors directly across the street, 173 and 175 Elmhurst, to see if they had any concerns with the main wall height variance in the front. And they have no concerns, and they provided 2 letters of support indicating that they're happy for this application to proceed.
Okay. I know in your presentation, you mentioned the ceiling heights for the main and the second floor, but you didn't mention the basement level. Do you know what that is?
The basement level ceiling heights, due to the geometry of the architecture, looking at in order to facilitate a upward sloped driveway into a garage cavity, that ceiling height in the garage, at the front of it's like 7'6". It gets just shy of 8 feet towards the rear. And of course, as you can pull up the architectural plans, if you look at sheet number A2, we have a variety of staircases that lead up and down and back down again to facilitate proper circulation, right? Ceiling height in the rear of the basement is larger than the front of the basement, which is why this building is, constitutes towards a 3-story structure.
All right, thank you.
You're very
No
welcome.
No further questions of the applicant? Mr. Fazeli?
Just clarification through you, Madam Chair. So the variance number 2 was not eliminated, right? Did I get it right? It
Variance
was
number 2
eliminated,
was
right?
eliminated, yes.
It was. So just to make sure, 2, 5, 6, and 8 were all eliminated. I got it right?
That is correct.
All right, thank you.
All right. Should we take it into committee? Who wants to start the conversation?
I can start a
Ms. Martin?
conversation
Yep.
to just say that I think that the applicant has worked to try and reduce the massing and the overall imposing structure with responding to the community planning report. It is an imposing structure because it's really a rectangle, it's got a very high front and rear exterior main wall. So it appears to be quite an imposing structure on the street. As far as the west, I was glad to see that they responded to the west setback, side yard setback, and increased it to 1.51 meters.
All right, thank you. I would just say, it appears then, it does appear though that community planning still has a problem with the height, despite seeing the change in the report? No? Am I reading something wrong?
Yeah, you're right, Madam Chair. I think they have an issue with the main wall height. They want that to be refused, but I am looking at the design, and I think it's a part of design. If we push that to be removed, it's going to be totally different design. So I don't want to, I personally don't have problem with that. If it was on the side, I think it would affect the neighbor more, but it's at the front and back. Probably not at the back, just at the front. So I think it's just a part of, frontage design and the streetscape. So I don't have any problem with that. And in general, I think it's a supportable application. They made quite significant changes to comply with the planning staff comments. So.
All right, thanks for clarifying. Yeah, I think so. I think they've gone a long way to address staff's concerns, and they've made adjustments to a number of the variances. And I mean, a 1.5 meter setback is still reasonable, I think, for a property like this. It's not out of the ordinary, quite commonly asked for. So I don't really have a concern with that. Mr. Marziari?
So if my colleagues don't have any further comment, with that being said, I'm ready to make a motion.
Go ahead.
So I'd like to make a motion to approve this application as amended. So I'm going to go through the changes because I think it's not quite compliant with the planning staffs. So variance number 1 to be
Sorry,
reduced.
there's no further discussion. Sorry.
So variance number 1 to be reduced to 32.79, variance number 2 eliminated, variance number 3 to be reduced to 9.41 meter, variance 5 and 6 eliminated, variance 8 eliminated, and variance 9 to be increased to 1.51 meter, and also subject to urban forestry conditions 2 and 3.
All right, thank you. Do we have a seconder? Ms. Sankar? Okay, all in favor of the motion that we have before us? All opposed? Ms. Martin is opposed. All right, the application has been, as amended, has been approved.
Thank you very much. I hope you all have a wonderful day.
Thank you. All right, that is it for the morning agenda. I believe we will be back at 2 p.m.